Hello makers, I'm back with another card for the Whimsy Stamps Halloweeners design team. Today's card is going to feature these products from Whimsy Stamps, and I'm going to use this stamp set called GnomeOween, and I think I'm going to use this little Frankenstein gnome who's all ready to trick or treat, and also the Scary and I Gnome It sentiment. Now there's also a little vampire, a little devil, and a few bats. I'll probably use the bats as well, and then quite a few sentiments that you could choose from. So that stamp set was just released in August. And then I'm going to use the Haunted Houses paper. And I pulled three that I'm going to, once I get the die cut on here that I want, I'll choose which one I think this little Frankenstein gnome will look best on, but I'm leaning towards this last one here. So it's nice that we have options, and there are lots of great haunted house backgrounds to choose from in that pack. Now I pulled this older die. It's a background die called Enchanted Forest, and I'm thinking about having him peek out of the trees, but I don't know if that's going to work. At any rate, I think he'll look just as good in front of the trees with one of those backgrounds behind it peeking through. And then to cut the trees, I'm going to use this Onyx cardstock from Cardstock Warehouse. They've provided us with lots of amazing cardstocks for this month for our makes, and so I'm going to be using that to cut my trees. Now I began by stamping my images on some Distress Mixed Media Heavy Stock. It's one of my favorite papers to watercolor on or do mixed media on. And so I started with peeled paint distress watercolor crayon, and then I added a little forest moss, and I'm just going in and blending that out with my water brush. Added some hickory smoke to those little screws, and then some carved pumpkin, and I think that was scattered straw for the yellow. And then I just went in with some grays and browns to finish out his beard and his shoes. These gnome stamps do come with coordinating dies, and the dies cut out all three gnomes, they cut out all three bats, and they even cut out the sentiments. So it's a great value, especially if this is going to be one that you're going to use a lot of, or you're going to make several cards from it. However, I don't have the dies yet, and so I just fussy cut quickly all three bats and my one little gnome to get ready to put the card together. Now I have the Enchanted Forest background die cut out of that black onyx cardstock from Cardstock Warehouse. It's got a little bit of a shimmer to it, which I really liked. I thought that was fun for Halloween. So I'm just adding some glue to the background, and I am placing it so that those two little bats peek through those little windows right there that are in front of the moon. And I thought that it would be fun to add those since I have the other bats. And then I just trimmed around the outside edge of that with my scissors. Super simple. This whole card is very simple. Will be done in no time. And you may have noticed that I didn't put the gnome peeking out from the branches, and that's because I thought he looked fine in front of them. So I cut an A2 card base from Rust cardstock from Cardstock Warehouse. And now I'm just attaching that card front to that card base. Again, super simple. And then I'm going to begin to attach the gnome and all of the other parts. So here is the Scary and I Gnome It. And again, there are dies that coordinate with these, but since I don't have them, I just fussy cut the sentiment as well and backed it with a little bit of that rust cardstock from Cardstock Warehouse that I made the base out of so that they would coordinate. And then I put foam dots on the back of all of these pieces so that they would stand out just a little bit, give it just a little bit more dimension. The Enchanted Forest die cut already gives it some wonderful dimension, but this adds just a little bit more for a little bit more interest. And it's a simple way to do that. Then I added some twine from Trendy Twine, and that's it. The card's finished. So such cute little bats, and I love that you can see the bats on the moon through the branches. It's that cute little Frankenstein gnome, and a funny sentiment. I think that's so funny. I love the humor that goes along with a lot of Whimsy's stamps. So that's all there is to today's card. Thank you so much. I know this was for me a really short tutorial, but I had a lot of fun making this card. Hope you enjoyed watching a really fast tutorial. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And I want to thank you for watching and wish you a very creative day.